I'm going to begin with a commercial.
All right.
This Thursday, September 11th, is World Day of Prayer. Now this is something that has gone on in Unity for 21 years, where they call upon the congregations worldwide to join at a specific time on a specific day to honor God and to pray for ourselves, our families, our friends, our nation, the world. And we know that as these prayers move together in conjunction, that great things happen. And that's what we're all about, making great things happen. The oneness and love of people. You know, we're really pretty great people. Sometimes there are a few that make me angry, but and there are some that I would like to grab by the front of their thing and go but even so, I resist. So anyway, on the World Day of Prayer, which is coming up, you're all invited. Come. Now, during the day here at Unity, we will have the doors open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The stations will be set up as they were last year so that you can visit a particular interest of yours to pray. And then you can spend time in prayer and meditation. It will be here, we will be open, and we will be very glad to see you all. But the evening, that evening, at what we call the Clinton Church, which is at 723 West Clinton Avenue, just up the road over here, we're going to do an evening of prayer and music. Now this is something you don't want to miss. Our group who is singing here today will be part of the event. So, it is a metaphysical, ecumenical program. We have ministers and speakers from all the various metaphysical churches here. We have singers and musicians from all around Fresno and Madera. And it's going to be one of those super evenings. Come at 5:30 and have a few snacks. We figure that some of you might be coming from work, so we don't want you to sit hungry through the thing. So we will have some snacks available. And then at 6 o'clock the program will begin. It will probably be about an hour and a half, but most worthwhile. And so, come on down, folks. Golly. Actually, as we wind down to get to this, we are finding that we need some people who have paper plates, napkins, cups, desserts, and deviled eggs to offer as part of the snack. And they say desserts, I think of baklava. Oh, I hope somebody turns up with baklava. So anyway, that is September 11th, and it's coincidental. We always do the second Thursday in September. In 2014, that is September 11th, and a really appropriate day to be praying for the world. Now, you know what, we're talking about prayer this week, today, and you know, the event that I've just been talking to you about will show you a number of ways that we pray. Unity is based on prayer. It began with prayer. And it continues that is the primary focus of Unity churches. Our founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, each experienced a healing as a result of prayer and began to be very interested in the use of prayer for the well-being of people. And they found silent unity. The two of them promised their lives, everything they own, and everything that they might own, to developing a prayer center for healing and help. They asked then of Spirit that whatever is needed to sustain this is provided. Now, 21 years later, actually, that started in 1889. And all these years later, Silent Unity is getting larger and larger, and we are now worldwide. That is the beginning of unity. And so I want to ask, do you pray every day? Yes. Good for you. You know, I was on a television program, sort of, kind of, it's one that goes on the internet yesterday. And the first question I was asked is, how did you get up this morning? And my response was, I put on the coffee and I looked up my daily word. And that's the way to begin your day. I did put the coffee on first. Do you think there's a right way and a wrong way to pray? No. Are there more than one way to pray?
Oh, yes.
Are you supposed to be sitting when you pray?
Sure.
How about kneeling? Are you supposed to kneel?
Lay down.
Or lying down? All of the above? Right. So this is the thing that we need. This is what our world needs today. That's the reason for the World Day of Prayer. It needs people, loving, understanding, believing people who daily turn to their inner selves, their Christ self, and know the greatest for our community and for our planet. Is meditation prayer?
Yes.
I don't see a whole lot of heads going up and down. Well, I'll inform you.
Yes.
Meditation is definitely prayer.
Yes.
Actually, meditation is almost the beginning of what a religious science practitioner would be using when they are dealing with a client. Because the first thing that a practitioner of religious science does is get in touch with God. That's where it all has to begin. And so meditation is good. How about visualization? Seeing what you want to be? Is that prayer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's prayer. So there are many ways to pray. You know, there's another way to pray. That's singing. You ever sing?
Pray twice.
You know, I have a funny habit of singing as I drive. Now, don't let me shock you with what I sing. It's things like this. Row, 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 you boat. But you know what? If you look at that, it's a child's song in a round. But it says, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. How about row, row, row your life gently in the flow? Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And don't we know that? We know that we're here temporarily to do what we're meant to do. And if we treat it as a dream, how can we lose? We can't. So I go merrily, merrily down my way, singing row, row, row your boat. My other favorite, however, is And the Bear Went Over the Mountain. And again, a great metaphysical lesson. Because what did he see when he got to the other side of the mountain?
The
same thing. You know, I was in real estate for a number of years, and I would see people who came to the office where I worked, and after a few weeks, this isn't working for me. They'd move off to another office. Guess what? It didn't work either. Because the thing that needed to change was them. And we change ourselves through prayer and meditation. Music, as we have seen this morning, is a great way to God. It just, as a matter of fact, with this kind of music, it just moves right in there. It's just gonna get in there. You know, native societies, Aboriginal societies, if you will, have always turned to sound, singing, drumming, flute, for all of their needs. The medicine man in a Native American tribe will go into the tent or the home of his sick person, carrying a drum, some sacred medicines that he happens to know, and himself. And he will chant, and he will drum, and he will call upon the Great Spirit to heal this person. That's how it's done. And they say that in order to stay connected in what they called the sacred hoop of the Great Spirit, you need to sing. Singing is extremely important. Makes you feel good, doesn't it? I know it does me. And you know, in Africa, they say, if you can talk, you can sing. If you can walk, you can dance. And dance, again, is very much a prayer. As you move your body, you know, the Greek Orthodox people are at this time of year blessing the grapes and all of the crops of the valley and having big celebrations. What do they do with those? They sing, they dance. It's all part of the whole. And in order to be whole humans, we need to let go and let God and let it all hang out.
That's for me.
Me too.
So but this is it. I mean, you cannot, if you're going to be staid and proper, it's going to be tough. If you let go and let yourself be, it's going to be wonderful. So let go. We have always said, let go and let God. Okay, let's do it. I want to read you something from The Velveteen Rabbit. Now, The Velveteen Rabbit is a child's story.
One of my favorites.
And they're toys in the children's room, and they're laying about on the floor. Well, today the two people who are speaking is the Velveteen Rabbit and the Skin Horse. And the Velveteen Rabbit says, "What is real?" asked the rabbit one day when they were lying side by side. "Does it mean having things that buzz inside you and stick out a handle?" Because that was the horse. "Real isn't how you are made," said the Skin Horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with you, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the Skin Horse, for he was always truthful. "When you are real, you don't mind being hurt. Does it happen all at once, like being wound up, he asked, or hit by a bat? I'm sorry, bit by bit. Doesn't happen all at once. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often. To people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off. Your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints, and very, very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. Let's be like the skin horse in the velveteen. Let's be real. Let's reach our Christ self through prayer and meditation. You know, I come from a Catholic background, and my grandmother was a very devout Catholic. She was a little German lady, not that tall, and round. My grandmother was round. And they lived out on a farm near Riverdale. And one of her greatest things each day was feeding the chickens. And she would go out with a bowl of corn and spread it for the chickens to enjoy. But if you tried to talk to my grandmother when she was feeding the chickens, you were out of luck, because Grandma was praying with each handful of corn that she passed out. Live that way. And I want to close today with what I think is one of the greatest prayers I've ever heard. Now this is about a little boy, about 2.5, 3 years old, just at the point where he could express himself. And he and his father and his older sister would gather each evening by their bed to pray before they went to sleep. Now the older sister is a very precocious young lady. She has a lot to say. Chitter, chitter, chitter. And he and his father sat quietly while she did her praying. Finally, the little boy said, "Daddy, me pray." And Daddy said, "Well, okay, go ahead and pray." And so the little boy stood up alongside the bed and slapped the mattress and said, "Daddy happy." Slapped the mattress again, "Mommy happy." Slapped the mattress again, "Sissy happy." Slapped the mattress again, "Nona happy." Again, "Me happy." Time to go to bed.